Hey everyone, I'm Joe and today it's time for me to talk about my BooktubeAthon wrap-up, thoughts and stats video. The BooktubeAthon event is actually very simple. It is simply to read 7 books over 7 days with 7 challenges. And I managed to complete it. Just about. I mean, it really was quite close in the end. I'm going to talk about all 7 books only very briefly, about 30 seconds max, but frankly there is my normal wrap-up videos where I'll cover these, and I'm probably definitely going to review at least 2, maybe 3 of these as well in the forthcoming few weeks. So talking too much now would be frankly pointless, and I'll be saying the same thing twice. The first book that I read was The Sirens of Titan by Vonnegut. This is my first ever Vonnegut, and it definitely won't be my last. Although I'm definitely not in a hurry to read any more Vonnegut now, because this was good, it just wasn't fantastic, frankly. I liked the ideas in it. Unfortunately though, the characters were frankly so unlikable in it that I frankly couldn't care less about them. Whilst this was a planned feature of the book, it didn't make it any easy to read, and frankly it does put you off when there is not one relatable character, and the psychology of the characters don't quite work for the plot as well, which is unfortunate. The second book that I read was The Demolished Man by Alfred. This is my first ever book by Bester, and this will definitely not be my last, because I really did enjoy this book. This is probably my second favourite book of the week, in fact. The idea in this is that a man has a great desire to kill another man, for reasons I'm not going to go into obviously, but this is very difficult because there are psychic police in this society, and obviously having police who can read your mind to a degree and tell whether you're lying and such makes things very difficult. This is a really interesting concept, and as a result this was a really interesting and worthwhile book. The next book that I read was The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula. Guin. This is about a guy who can change reality via his dreams, but he only has these dreams when he's in a very heightened emotional state, like very stressed or very scared. It has some very interesting ideas in it. It has some very gallows humour in it. I liked it. I did have a few issues with it, and especially the psychological aspect, which was both a bonus and a drawback, because some of the psychology in it was good, some of it seemed a bit odd, but it was a good book overall and I did enjoy it. The fourth book that I read was The Fountains of Paradise by Arthur C. Clarke. Basically, Arthur C. Clarke is a good, reliable author who I've always enjoyed, and I've enjoyed this one. This is about, quite simply, one man and his dream to make a space elevator. This is a hard science fiction book, but is very light on the technical details. It also has some good emotion, good character, and even touches very lightly on theology. I like the mix of all these ideas and how Clarke writes about it, and also it keeps up the tension and the plot line extremely well, and I really did enjoy this one overall. The fifth book was Babel 17 by Samuel R. Delany. This is a book which focuses on language and linguistics. It made me think in some ways of Nova, also by Delany, which I read last year. It's not about the same subject, but it's in space. It's on a spaceship with an unusual crew. I liked some of the ideas in it, but the execution of the ideas in this one really didn't work for me. Nova worked well. This, I don't know, I had issues with, and frankly I can't explain why I had issues with it. It just, no part of the book quite worked for me. The sixth and penultimate book that I read was The First Men in the Moon by H.G. Wells. This is the only one of the 7 books that I really found to be a chore to read, and frankly I did not enjoy this book at all, to be honest. The plot was not that exciting and it sort of felt quite fractured. The characters were dry and uninteresting and followed not particularly interesting stereotypes which I don't care about, and this is fantastical science fiction, and that is not something that I'm particularly keen on. And finally, the last book that I read was The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. This was definitely my favourite book of the week. Actually, it's the only one of 7 books that I gave 5 out of 5 stars to on Goodreads. This is a deep, meaningful look at war and its effects on both the people taking part in the war and the people not, the normal civilians back home. It uses a science fiction setting of this extremely long war with one soldier in particular who essentially, because of the time distances involved, he ends up fighting the war, and for him it doesn't take all that long. He's away about 10-15 years in total, and back on Earth hundreds of years have gone by. So it's basically an interesting look, magnified to a really high level. It's extremely interesting, the ideas are brilliant, and it's extremely meaningful, and I am really glad that I read this book, I really am. So that's it for the 7 books I read. Now I'll quickly talk about the stats. The 7 books comprise 1,545 pages in total, which gives me an average page count of 220, which is also the amount I have to read each day, of course. On average, each book took me roughly 3.5 hours, which means I read for just over 24 hours in total, which sounds frankly remarkable when you say it like that. This gives me a average reading speed of 63 pages per hour, which is on the lower end of average for me, because my normal reading speed is somewhere between 60 to 90 pages per hour. Overall, I've really enjoyed this past week and the BooktubeAthon in general. I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to be taking part in another one in the future, because I don't really like TBRs as a rule. I like to be able to just pick and choose what books I read as and when I feel like reading. So having it too fixed isn't quite my thing, but we'll see in the future. I may well take part. I did like the idea of doing a theme, so it's 50-50 pretty much. So that's it for this video. If you've taken part in the BooktubeAthon, then please let me know how it went for you and what you read for it, because I'm always interested in other people's opinions, and indeed to get more inspiration on what to read myself, of course. All my social media links can be found in the description box below, as they always are. And with that said, that is it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.